So I'm deploying the app to the phone. So let's move around. So it's detecting the planes. Okay, so now let me tap on the plane and see. Okay, the cube has spawned. Now let's see if the cube will move to a different position. Yeah, it does. Let's try it again. Okay, planes. Okay. Welcome to Vinex Studio. Let's start making games. Hi and welcome to another tutorial on the AR tutorial series. Today we're going to see how to spawn a game object on the detected plane. So in the last few tutorials, we saw how to set up the AR project, how to detect simple planes, and how to estimate the surrounding lights around you. In this tutorial, we'll be spawning a game object on the detected plane. So we'll be using the same scene from our last tutorial. So if you have not seen our old tutorials and you are totally new to Unity, then you should go ahead and check out our Learn Unity playlist. Also, if you're getting started with augmented reality, then start with our first tutorial where we help you set up the first AR scene with plane detection. So we are not going to be using the light estimation here. So let's disable the canvas in the event system. So no display there. And in this AR session origin, I have the AR camera. So light estimation will be set to none. Okay. Then in the direction light, we have the light estimation script. So I'm going to disable that. Now we have a basic AR scene which can detect both vertical and horizontal planes. Now to spawn a game object on the detected plane, you have to cast a ray from your camera to the plane, and if the ray hits the plane, then it will return the point at which it hit the plane. So we can spawn a game object at that point. So if you don't know what a raycast is, in Unity, raycast is like a laser beam from one point to another point, and it will return the details about the collider that it has hit. So unlike regular raycast, we'll be using the AR Raycast Manager for our tutorial today. So we have to add an AR Raycast Manager. So let's go to AR Session Origin, click on Add Component and search for AR Raycast Manager. So you don't have to add this Raycast prefab because we'll be doing that using script. So now let's add another component, and this will be a Raycast script. So let's call it Raycast script, and we'll say new script, create and add. Now let's open the script in Visual Studio for editing. Now we need two more namespaces for this. One is using Unity engine .xr.ar foundation. And since we are using the Raycast manager, we have to add using Unity engine .ar subsystems, sorry, .xr .ar subsystems. Okay. Now we need an object that we are going to spawn. So let's call it public game object spawn prefab. So we'll create this prefab after finishing our script. Then when we spawn the game object, we'll assign that to another game object so that we can reference it without requiring to spawn it again. So we'll just make another game object and let's call spawn object. Okay. Then what we need next is going to be a boolean which will tell us whether the object is spawned. Okay. Then we need a variable of type AR Raycast manager. So since we have to get the Raycast manager component, and we'll call it AR Rayman. Then this AR Raycast manager will basically return a list with the details of all the detected planes that it has hit. So we need a list. So we're going to say a list AR Raycast hit. and let's call it hits is equal to new list AR Raycast hit and close semicolon. So now we have defined all the variables that we need. It's time to initialize them. So first we are going to say object spawn is equal to false. Then we'll say AR Rayman is equal to get components AR Raycast manager. So this will get the AR Raycast manager from our AR session origin. So once that is done, let's go to the update function. And you don't, or you should not basically raycast continuously, because raycast is a very performance expensive operation. So we'll only raycast when the user basically taps on the screen. So we'll say if input dot touch count is greater than 0, if AR Rayman dot raycast, now we have to give the position, which will be basically your screen point. So it's nothing but input dot get touch, and we're taking the first touch point. Then we have to say hits, which will basically have the list of planes that it has hit, and we have to say trackable type. We'll select the trackable type as planes with polygon. So if it returns true, and we have to get the position. So if the raycast basically returns the position, then we have to see whether we have already spawned an object. So we'll just say if not spawned object, then we'll say spawned object is equal to instantiate and spawn prefab. Okay, before we can get the hit position, we have to save that list to an hit pose. So you have to say variable hit pose equal to hits. That will take the first one dot pose. So we'll not be taking all the planes, we'll be taking the first plane that was hit by the raycast when the user tapped on the phone. So now we have a hit pose. So from the hit pose data, you can get the hit pose dot position from a hit pose dot rotation semicolon. So this will basically spawn the game object at the position where the raycast has hit the first plane. So if we have already spawned the game object, then we are just going to say spawned object dot transform dot position is equal to hit pose dot position. And here, after spawning the object, we are going to say object spawned is equal to true. So what the script will do is basically spawn a game object on the first plane that was hit by the raycast when the user taps on the screen. And if you already spawned the game object, then it will move the game object to that position. So that's it. Our script is ready. So let's save this, go back to Unity. Now we need a spawn prefab. So let's just go and create a 3D cube. Okay. And let's reset all the positions of the cube. Okay, so let's drag and drop that cube to the project window. So this is my cube prefab. Now I can delete it from the scene. So let's go to AR session origin. Here's my spawn prefab. Let's assign the cube to the spawn prefab. Let's save. Now let's build and deploy. So as you can see, the cube is basically very large in the real world. So I'm going to select my prefab and reduce the scale to 0.2 in all X, Y, and Z direction. So now the cube should be smaller in the real life. So let's build and run again. So I'm deploying the app to the phone. So let's move around. So it's detecting the planes. Okay. So now let me tap on the plane and see. Okay, the cube has spawned. Now let's see if the cube will move to a different position. Yeah, it does. Let's try it again. Okay, planes. Okay. So this is how you can place an object on the detected plane. In the next tutorial, we'll be seeing how to scale the object that we have placed there. Thank you and see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share.